Hey, that puppet just snatched my flute.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just not good.
Welcome back to Short Pour. We are your hosts. I'm Chris.
And I'm Brandon.
And we are getting into the holiday spirits around here, which means that for the next few weeks, our theme is going to be centered around holiday spirits.
So this week, we are actually opening up with Phantom V Distillery's old-fashioned oatmeal cookie brandy. And this was a leftover from when we both went to Whiskey Fest last year.
Yeah, so actually, beer's going to be taking a backseat for a little bit. And during this time period, we're bringing you, I think we have mostly whiskeys lined up, right?
Yeah, I guess we'll see how Whiskey Fest goes this year. But yeah, I think that's the plan.
All right.
So with the brandy that we have this year, we drank it last year at Whiskey Fest. And I remember it being a smash hit while we were there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, towards the end, everything tastes great, I guess, at a certain point.
Oh, I thought you were going to say everyone was smashed. So
Yeah, at a certain point, everything was smashed, yeah. The back of the bottle for this one, they put quite the amount of effort into this. So settle in a little bit. Old-fashioned oatmeal cookie was inspired by my grandmother's amazingly chewy but crispy oatmeal cookies. The simple old-fashioned recipe of brown sugar, vanilla, cinnamon, chewy oats, and that one secret ingredient takes me back to fond memories attached to the flavors. A football game. Touchdown, Kansas City. A warm sweater and thick wool socks. Leaves scurrying down the street before the wind. The cold shiver from an Arctic blast. The last warmth of the sun. Chilly mornings and glorious warm afternoons. Memories so fresh you can almost taste Grandma's old-fashioned oatmeal cookies. And this one comes in at 15% ABV or 30 proof for the proof, I guess, yeah, or 30 proof. And I will say, like, this is like perfect timing to be drinking this right now too, because that is the exact time period we're in right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, to be fair, at the time we're recording this, we are also going back to Whiskey Fest tomorrow. So this lines up perfectly.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I'm going in.
Yep.
Oh my God, dude, it's so good.
I know. It's like, it's one of those drinks where it's scary good. You know, of like, you know for a fact, like, oh man, this is going to get me in trouble.
It's going to mess me up. Yeah, because it's so sweet. Like, it has that, like, actual cookie sweetness. And it's not like, I feel like some whiskeys get into the territory of like, oh man, it feels like they just added like a bunch of sugar to try to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like competing. This one somehow, like, it doesn't taste sugary. It just tastes really sweet, if that makes sense.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, to be fair, like, it's a brandy instead of a whiskey. So I guess I don't know how much that helps with like more of the natural sweetness. But yeah, I was going to say it's not sweet in the same sense of like a wine cooler where it's like you can only have after a while, like it almost starts to like hurt your stomach, you know?
Right.
But this is not that. Like it literally tastes like a cookie.
It does. And like you still get like that little bit of like that like spreading warmth in your chest. Oh, it's good.
It is
with
good.
No bite whatsoever.
Yes. Oh, I know, it goes down so smooth.
I know. Yeah. Well, Jay hates like when it's like, you know, like stinging alcohol and stuff. And she tried this and she went back for seconds because she's like, ooh, yeah, you can just drink it.
I know.
Oh, it's so good.
I mean, to be fair, like you and I have both drank this again since last year's Whiskey Fest, and we had just enough in the bottle to do an episode, basically. So if that tells you anything, like, it was going to be gone anyway. So I realized for reviews on this, I'm going to have to come up with a more reliable review source to finish out our holiday spirits. But I got one for this one.
From where?
It was a review left on like a Lucas Wine and Spirits website. That was the only place I could find one. But I think it is a pretty good review. And like in the sense, like I agree with it. So they say, it's delicious, super smooth, with a very timid hug that feels like you're eating a warm, straight out of the oven oatmeal cookie. Short and sweet, but I agree with basically everything they said.
Oh, I thought short and sweet was part of the review.
No, that was my review on their review.
Like, yeah, I mean, I was like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it is short and sweet. Like,
Well, it was, yeah. Hey, I only had so much to go off of.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. A hug. Like a hug.
Sorry, a very timid hug.
Very, very timid hug.
I don't know if that means like a sidearm hug or or like the hug where
like
you like
very gentle.
You barely lift your arms up like past their waist, like you don't go for the full embrace.
Oh, I thought it was like, whenever you're like hugging, like, you're like super old grandma and you're like, I don't want to like break you.
I don't want to hurt you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I don't know which of those hugs it is, but anecdotally, also all of my friends that I had drink it loved it.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody drink this and like be angry afterwards.
Yeah, I've never met anyone that didn't like it. Even the like non-typical alcohol drinkers all really like it.
Mm-hmm. Well, even Bridget liked it, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I haven't met anyone that didn't like it.
Yeah.
And she's usually she's very what's the word? Like, she can always tell when there's alcohol in there, and she doesn't like the taste of it.
She's a very timid hugger.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's a separate issue.
Very timid drinker.
Yeah, timid drinker. All right, so with this episode, we're going to be looking into the history of Cookie Monster.
Oh, boy.
So we'll go ahead and take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about Cookie Monster.
Let's take a quick break.
I'm Shay.
And I'm Jody.
And together, we host the Rainy Day Rabbit Holes podcast, a deep dive into the misty mysteries of the Pacific Northwest.
From the untold stories of eccentric pioneers to the secrets buried deep in the moss-covered forests, we take you on a not-so-serious journey through the quirky tales and hidden stories of the region.
On our show, you can hear great content like...
Dr. Dewey's teachings propelled Linda Hazard into a lifetime career of starving people for money under the auspices of healing.
I could do that.
Run a cult or
both.
And thoughtful insights like...
I think he was abducted by a drunken lumberjack, as usual.
Those drunken lumberjacks just abducting bears.
It was an epidemic.
From coffee pioneers Starbucks to feet on a beach and even Bigfoot, we have something for everyone.
So grab your latte and hit play. Listen, learn, and laugh with Rainy Day Rabbit Holes. See you down the rabbit hole.
So for the history of Cookie Monster, starting off very basic, he was a puppet created by Jim Henson, and he obviously just absolutely loves to eat cookies. So he actually originally started as like a slightly different monster. He was used in a General Foods Canada commercial in 1966 for a snack food called Wheels, Crowns, and Flutes.
Wait, that was the name? That was the name of the snack?
Yeah, there were 3 separate snacks. Wheels, crowns and flutes. Yeah, I'm well, okay, so if it tells you anything about it, this commercial never ended up airing. So I don't know what that means for the snack, but
was it like that was like the shape of them, or what is that like?
I don't know. I didn't look them up.
Well, also, aren't like flutes is kind of like a cop out, right? Because isn't it just like sticks? That's just a stick.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I haven't seen them. Oh wait, I found the picture of them.
Oh, dude, the flutes. It says the flutes were a butternut snack. What the hell? And in the crowns, it just says corn snack.
Corn snack, yeah. Wait, do you see the picture of them?
The 3?
Yeah, like of the snacks themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the flutes were just like cylinders. The crowns are cylinders with crowns on top, and the wheels just look like little bitty wheels, I guess.
Yeah, that one's the most apt.
Yeah. So he was initially known as the Wheel Snatcher. That was his name for this kind of commercial. Or sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting them mixed up. He was originally known as the Wheel Stealer.
Okay.
The other two, I forget what one was. I think called the Flute Snatcher, and then the other one was called the Crown Grabber. And like these names,
Crown
man,
Grabber.
they just sound very suggestive. Like I just don't know what to make of them.
And that puppet just snatched my flute.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just not good.
Yeah.
But if you notice, since you were looking at the picture, the original monster, so he's the Wheel Snatcher, Wheel Stealer.
Yes, he is.
But I'm stuck on Snatcher. That's not good.
Sorry, Snatch is on the brain.
Yeah. But he also has really, really sharp teeth, which is like really the biggest difference. Yeah.
Yes, he does. I was gonna say, and like, it's not even like it's like a shark's mouth, like jagged teeth.
Yes.
It looks like there's a couple of rows in there. They're just pointed every which way.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that'll come into play later.
Oh.
So that same puppet, essentially at this point, he's basically unnamed. I mean, like they gave him like a little name for the commercial, but the puppet is used for other things. So the puppet is then used for an IBM training film called Coffee Break Machine.
What?
I don't know.
Dude, could you imagine this day and age, like watching a mandatory training thing and they just unironically do it with a puppet? That would be insane.
So, okay, so let me hold on. Let me get a little bit further in because I think this will kind of clear it up.
Okay.
So there's a sketch in the video where the monster is used, and I think it's maybe just like kind of a little bitty thing to kind of break up the training, I would assume. And so in this sketch, that same monster eats a high-tech like coffee machine, and as he eats it, he describes all of the parts as he's eating it.
Okay.
And when he gets to the very end, the machine makes an alert that the anti-vandalism system has been activated, and it will detonate the most powerful bombs known to man, and then it immediately blows up. It just explodes. And that's the end of the sketch.
Oh my God. So you're telling me that this puppet unknowingly like ate all of the pieces to the bomb, right?
Yeah.
Or is just one of the parts in the coffee machine is a bomb?
I think it's just one of the parts, probably. I guess I don't really know where I haven't watched the training video, so I'm not familiar.
If he actually knew all the parts of the coffee machine, he should have known that. You know, as he's like, and this is the part that has a bomb in it for some reason.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is how they get them to invest into watching the video, so that they don't end up blowing up from a coffee machine. Yeah, I also was like, what was do you think this was like I think it's like late 60s, early 70s. Like it wasn't like a cybersecurity training. Like what was the training for?
Yeah, wait, what? Yeah, what would be the point of the IBM people? Like maybe they just had a lot of issues with like people cleaning their coffee machine around the office. They're like, hey, we need to respect these pieces of equipment, all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. So that same puppet ends up going on the Ed Sullivan Show, and it does the same sketch that it did in that IBM video, and it does a few more commercials for like unrelated or other snack foods, I think from like Frito-Lay or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But he eventually appears on Sesame Street, where we all know him from. And initially he was considered to be a background monster because he was too scary because of all those teeth.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't interact or like have him be a main focus.
Yeah, no speaking roles.
Yeah, he didn't get very many speaking parts.
Yeah. One
of the early sketches that he was in, the only words that were spoken in the entire sketch were the words milk and the word cookie.
Gosh.
And that's all that was said. I guess I don't know how many words he said, but it was a pretty minimal kind of background thing. So then he goes on to do another routine where he wins like a quiz show. And for winning, he gets to pick a prize. He can get $10,000 cash, a new car, a trip to Hawaii, or a cookie.
Yeah.
And he obviously chose the cookie. And then that's where he got his name. And that's where they started to attach him to that.
I imagine that's one of those things where, like, well, the true original name was actually born from everyone called him the cookie dumbass because he picked the cookie. It's like, oh, this is that cookie dumbass, man. The dumbass cookie monster.
So he eventually starts getting worked into more sketches. There's a really kind of famous or popular one where Kermit is doing this whole speech about the letter W. And Cookie Monster comes in and he eats off a chunk of it and turns it into the letter N. And then another chunk and it becomes V. Another one and becomes I. And, Kermit's all flustered trying to
keep up with it.
Give his little monologue. And then, it eventually ends with him trying to eat Kermit. And that's kind of where we tie in his appetite with everything.
Did he still have the teeth at this point?
I think it ditched the teeth at this point.
Okay. I will say, even from that first initial black and white picture, it is pretty that is Cookie Monster, just with teeth.
Yes.
You can definitely see once they got rid of the teeth, it's the same puppet.
Yeah, there may have been really minuscule changes, but yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the cookies that he eats actually have to be kind of specialized. So a big problem with using real cookies is that the oil from them damages the puppet's fur.
Yeah.
So they can't use regular cookies. So, but they also want something thin and soft and shatters into a bunch of little bitty pieces, for the whole effect of all of it.
The crumbs and stuff. Yeah.
For a while they used rice crackers and they would color them to look like cookies basically, but the crumbs they shattered really well, but the crumbs would get caught in the fur really bad.
Yeah, okay.
So then they switched to foam cookies, and those worked pretty well, but they didn't look quite right when they broke. You could tell it was different.
They would break into way too big of chunks or something?
Yeah. So then in 2000, a woman named Laura McLean developed a fat-free cookie recipe with no added sugar, and it essentially is pancake mix, puffed rice, grape nut cereal, and instant coffee. And then they use brown hot glue as the chocolate chips or the raisins.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously with the hot glue, that's not edible. But apparently, according to the Wikipedia page, it says that the cookies do not taste good. They're not it's not something you eat.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good cookie.
Yeah, it apparently doesn't taste very good. So I guess I don't know what ratios everything is in. In my head, the pancake mix with some puffed rice and grape nut cereal should be okay. But then the instant coffee is where I'm I'm out.
It doesn't sound super flavorful, one way or the other. Because if you just have unbuttered pancake mix, you know what I mean? That's not super flavorful.
Yeah, I guess, but
I mean, because I feel the syrup does a lot of the syrup and butter at the end is what does a lot of the heavy lifting for pancakes.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, do you remember when mom would make pancakes and then there would be this giant pile that just sat there all day long?
Yeah.
And I would just spend the whole day walking and I would walk by and rip off a chunk of a cold pancake and just eat it. I thought they tasted good.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, we still do that. Jay and I still do that. And we just eat them cold from the fridge too. So Yep. Just tear them off. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
You remember that period of time where mom somehow stumbled onto being oh, to make super fluffy pancakes, you put Sprite in the batter?
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
I don't remember.
I that seems so bizarre of a thing to do now.
Wait, but that's a real thing though, right?
Yeah. I mean, people do it. I haven't seen anybody do it since then.
I haven't done it, but I've definitely said it to people before. I need to give it another shot. I guess, how much Sprite are you supposed to use?
This one random recipe says, well, no, there's 2 recipes now. Hold on. Let me get one more for the efficacy of it.
Hey, it comes up on a copycat McDonald's pancakes recipe.
Yeah. Okay. 2 of them said half of a cup. The copycat McDonald's recipe says 1 1/3 cup of Sprite. That's a lot. That's a lot of Sprite.
Yeah. I mean, I guess how many pancakes are they planning on making?
Yeah, that's true.
We should try it again.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know, man. all of the videos that are saying like, oh yeah, like use the sprite, and they're all like look like they're being filmed from people that are like using their phone like shirtless in their kitchen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that might be a struggle meal, man.
Yeah, it might be. It's like a way to really stretch out the pancake mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm down to try it.
I remember I don't think she did that like all the time, but I just for whatever reason remembered her doing that at some point.
Yeah, I'm also positive that she doesn't do it now.
No, yeah, I know for a fact she doesn't do it now. I actually had pancakes with her last week, and I know that she doesn't do that. But I also remember whenever she did it, like there were like tons of like tiny bubbles in the like finished pancake.
Yeah, it's all that carbonation.
Yeah, but it cooked out. I don't remember them being like, like, dang, this is like super fluffy. It's just like a bunch of voids in the pancake afterwards.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, who would have thought that pancakes would get us so far in this episode?
Right. Well, it's mostly the Sprite, actually. The Sprite stretched out the pancake mix and this episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to finish with, I don't know, kind of like some fun facts, I guess, or like little stories about Cookie Monster. So in 2007, he was on Martha Stewart's TV show, and that was where he initially said that cookies were a sometimes food.
Oh, for like the first time ever?
Yeah, and they weren't supposed to be eaten all the time, which I guess apparently he caught a lot of flack for that, but they are sometimes food, so I don't know what people want.
Yeah.
He also was on the Colbert Report.
Oh, man.
And they have this, like, this was in, like, 2008, and they have this, like, whole back and forth about, like, Stephen Colbert's, like, giving him a hard time about no longer supporting the pro-cookie agenda and like all this stuff, whatever. But I guess during the interview at some point, Cookie Monster says that he had some crazy times during the 70s and 80s, and he refers to himself as the Robert Downey Jr. of cookies. What does that mean? I mean, I know what it means, but
yeah, that is an apt reference there. Holy cow. The Robert
it's
Downey
just funny.
Jr. of cookies.
It's hilarious because that was in 2008. So I think it would have been like a year after the first Iron Man came out.
Or like that same year.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where like as a kid, you have no idea what that means.
Right.
Other than you're like, oh, like Iron Man or, you know, something that may be like the only context you know.
Yeah.
But then anyone older than that is like, oh, what did he just say? That's hilarious.
Yeah. You know, really took off a meteoric rise early on. Got a little too crazy with the cookies. Fell off for a while. Now I finally got my head on straight in 2008.
Yeah. So anyway, with the whole like cookies being a sometimes food, he does eat fruits and vegetables now, like even on the show. So apparently in 2017 he did an interview. It didn't say who the interview was with, but he revealed his real name. You want to take a guess at what that is?
Cookie Monster's real name?
Yeah, it's like an actual name. Like you could
like Jason or something.
Well, it's not Jason, but yeah, it's just like a regular name like that. Yeah.
What is it?
Apparently, his real name is Sid.
Sid.
Yeah.
Whoa. What?
That's according to this 2017 interview, and apparently he says it in a song that came out in 2004. I didn't listen to the song, but yeah, apparently his real name is Sid. Anyway.
Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. His name is Sidney James McAllister.
Oh, I didn't read anything about the middle or last name.
Oh, I'm just kidding. It says his name is.
Come on.
His Christian name is Sidney Monster.
Does it really say that?
It says his name is Sidney Monster.
Oh, okay.
It also says he has he has 3 aliases.
Okay, yeah. What are those?
We have, of course, the Wheel Stealer.
Yes.
From his original days. Then something. We have a name where he goes by Alistair Cookie.
Ooh,
like
fancy.
Like fancy, yeah, like
yeah,
sophisticated version.
Yeah, this is when he eats the cookie with a pinky up.
Yeah. Well, then he might be eating, like macarons or something.
Or what the hell's a crumpet?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what a crumpet is.
Oh wait, it's macaroons, right?
I don't know. We've been watching Great British Bake Off, and they say macarons.
Okay, all right. I'm not gonna argue with them.
And then we have his last alias, and all it says is Arnold.
Arnold. Wow.
And that gives no context for that one. Just
yeah,
Arnold.
I don't know. I do know when he was in the first season of Sesame Street before he was like officially named, they also at some points called him Tiny, and then they also called him Harry. He was really searching for himself for a while.
Yeah. Well, I think they landed on they struck gold eventually.
Yeah.
Because he's super iconic.
Yes, he is. And as I was reading through and like looking at all the pictures, I was like, oh man, I forgot like how much I liked Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just was like, wow, man, I haven't seen Sesame Street in a long time.
Dude, much like this brandy, I don't think I've ever met anybody that's disliked Cookie Monster.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we're gonna wrap it up with this last fun fact. It's pretty short, but his birthday is actually on November 2nd. So we are just after it. So happy belated birthday, Cookie Monster.
Yep, happy belated birthday. Well, just a little housekeeping. We will be attending Whiskey Fest in Weston, Missouri this weekend. So we'll be coming back with a few whiskeys and riding out the rest of this holiday spirits season.
All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks, Tony. Thanks for listening. As always, if you want to like or subscribe, please follow us on Instagram at shortpourpodcast or send us a suggestion through email at shortpourpod@gmail.com.
And whether you pour short
or pour long,
always finish.